The 8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask a question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn over my head. This devil man and his master plan. We feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take all back. Rise up, take it all back. Rise up. I hope you all understand. We got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Boy, that time sneaks up on you. We have Anonymous American in the house. We have Riddle Girl here. What's up, everybody? Today has been something. We went and worked out, and I came to the realization that my left arm is extremely weaker than my right arm. I don't really know how to combat that, other than to work out harder with my left arm on a lower weight. So, like, I don't know. This is just spitballing here. If anybody knows anything about physical fitness, let me know if I'm doing this wrong. But I'm thinking what I want to do is yeah, that's not good, huh? I want to do normal weight for the right arm, but then I kind of want to go a little bit less weight on the left arm and just do more reps. You know what I mean? I don't know how to balance that out. Other than that, I have been doing a lot of marijuana research today. Riddle, I was watching. It was because I'd found one like grandma, like 80-year-old lady who grows weed. She doesn't smoke it. Her daughter does because she had grand mal seizures after an accident, and that helped her with her grand mal seizures, which is amazing. Anyway, they were doing a cooking video and they were making weed butter or hot butter. I don't know what you call it. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And then, that takes you down the rabbit hole. And before you know it, I'm looking at grow kits. Like full on grow kits. There was one that was like $1,000 to start off with. And I'm like, holy shit. Now I have a lot of growing stuff already. I don't have the tent. I don't have the air circulator, and I don't have a monitor for the humidity or any way to increase the humidity or decrease the humidity. So a dehumidifier and a humidifier. Use rubber band weight that you pull. That's what physical therapists would tell you to do to strengthen that arm. All right. All right. Yeah, I have workout bands. We just decided to go to the gym because, we pay for it and they have a lot of cool stuff there. But yeah, just sitting here at home, maybe I start just while I'm watching YouTube videos or researching weed or whatever. I'll just start doing that. It was noticeable though. I was doing this machine instead of curling with actual weights. They have a machine that you can do that kind of like that. And before we even did that, I knew that my left arm was weaker, right? But we're doing that, and I can barely pull it up on my left arm. And meanwhile, my right arm, I'm doing this, no problem, all day long. I could have just kept doing reps and reps and reps and reps. I was like, that's crazy. What after a trip? Oh, you mean getting into marijuana growing? No, I mean, I'm not planning on buying anything right now. Maybe seeds. But it's curious. At first, I thought I was gonna have to do it hydroponically, but now it looks like they do put it in soil, which is fine. I don't really want to mess with the waters too much, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. So I've been looking up that, but I think what it was is because I was like, you know what, we were talking about getting a water pipe. Remember, Riddle, or a bong, and because I some of them are cool, and wait, you don't ruin it. I was getting there. So I was like, you know what? Let's do a search for cool bongs. Because I have to have something cool. I can't just have a normal straight up pipe and just no, man. It's got to look cool. It's got to have like a Grim Reaper. It's got to have like a fucking Don't Tread on Me snake. I don't know, something cool, right? And so a video comes up of Seth Rogen smoking out of a gravity bong. I never even heard of a gravity bong. If you don't know what a gravity bong is, do yourself a favor. Look up you can do it on YouTube. Look up Seth Rogen gravity bong. It's like 30 seconds. It's not very long at all. And man, that took me down a rabbit hole. That thing's like $600. I ain't going to buy it, but it's cool. And, you just keep going down. Nah, I just got LED grow light. LED, sorry. LED grow lights. I do have grow lights. I don't know if they're the right kind. I don't know if they're the right wattage because apparently there's different wattages for different parts of the grow. Right? Actually, you know what? I do remember what started this riddle is we were talking about getting actual bud instead of edibles and the vape stuff because it's cheaper. And then I asked you how much like a ounce was. Actually, it was after I'd found the recipe because I was like, let's make our own weed butter. Maybe it'd be cheaper to buy the bud and then make our own butter. And you said it was like $200 for an ounce. Now I know an ounce of weed is pretty big, or is quite a bit, but still, $200 for an ounce? Holy crap! I need to be making this shit myself. One arm stronger than the other. Some kind of advice. My mom always told me, much exercise on that one arm, and you'll go blind. Well, to be honest, that's fun. That's hilarious, Armed Archangel. It's absolutely hilarious, but it's wrong because the arm I was always favoring back in the day when I had to do that was my left. So Make sure your light is red, blue, and white light on separate control so you can decide when it blooms, grows, etc. Yeah, so Anonymous knows this shit. So the grow lights that we have do have red and blue, and it makes this pink hue behind me. If you guys have been here long enough, you remember when we had the hydroponics right there, and it was kind of always purple. And in fact, sometimes, like when I'm doing gaming or whatever, you know how gamers or people who do gaming, they all have these really cool light things behind them. I just turn this on, right? And you can kind of see it's pink. Now there are some lights that are not working on that, and I think that was a pretty cheap light setup that we bought. And to be honest, if we're gonna do this, maybe I will go with a little bit more of an expensive setup, just because I'm tired of fuddling. I hate fiddling. Usually, that's how I get in trouble, because I'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw money at it and hope that it's much better. All right. Yeah, that whole figuring out when to make it flower, I never heard that. Apparently, you can control when it flowers. So those were the rabbit holes that I went down today. Oh, so today's topic, or at least top story that we're going to be talking about, has the potential of getting me in trouble. So let me preface this. Hey, at least it says there's people watching this time. Let me preface this by saying I in no way think that Joe Biden didn't win the election. I think he won the election. There's proof that he won the election. And I'm not questioning the fact that Joe Biden won the election. No sarcasm alert or nothing. There are other things that I'm not saying right there, but at the same time, to anybody watching from YouTube, Joe Biden is the president of the United States. You don't need to freaking put a thing on the bottom of my video saying, well, fact check. I already fact checked. Joe Biden's president. I own this. You can grow at least 3 huge plants. Ooh. All right. I'm clicking on that. Oh, damn. That's cool. It's got fans and everything. It's not bad. It's cheaper than the other grow light I was looking at earlier. The other grow light I was looking at was on a site. Okay, we're going to talk about pot for a little bit. Let's, where is it? It's not there. I don't think it was that. No. Was it here? Did I close out I must have closed it out. I think it was like spider something. All right. Cool. Well, I will save that for a later time then. All right. Let's get to it. Link though, Anonymous. I will check that out. Okay. Maricopa Canvas report presents evidence of DARFing in Arizona's election. Not that I grow anything. It's not illegal here. 6 years on, it still works great. Holy crap. And that's just the light, right? What do you think about the tents? Because I've seen that they have, the one place that I was looking, they have a 2x2 tent, they have a 3x3 tent, and a 4x4 tent. I think 4x4, 4 feet by 4 feet, is probably the maximum that I'm going to want to go. And I have to wait until after the trip because I'm taking a lot of stuff in a separate bedroom up there and getting rid of it. So hopefully we'll have room in the extra bedroom. Maybe I can set something up there. Of course, I'll have to map it out before I buy anything, but those are the thoughts anyway. Okay. A report on mail-in voting in Arizona's Maricopa County has laid out evidence of DARFing that may have swayed the outcome for our beloved president, the one, the only, the legitimate president, Joe Biden. The take-home figures reveal that 173,104 votes known to have been cast were lost or missing. Meanwhile, 96,389 ghost votes were mysteriously added to the tally, despite the supposed voters being unaccounted for. These results are a travesty to our democracy and our voting rights, said the canvassing report, which is not associated with the long awaited report from the state's independent forensic audit of Maricopa's 2.1 million ballots. So this is not cyber ninjas. The canvassing effort came courtesy. First of all, I don't remember anybody knocking on my door asking me who I voted for, so I have no idea. Came courtesy of Liz Harris, a Republican candidate for the state legislature who was defeated in the 2020 election. She subsequently went door to door, cross-checking addresses with those of voters who registered and cast absentee ballots. That's why I didn't get a knock on the door. I didn't cast an absentee ballot. It is obvious to anyone that voting by mail is ripe for malfeasance. YouTube, what's up, Mule? How you doing? We're talking about pot today, bro. I went down the rabbit hole and am thinking about maybe after this trip setting up a grow room because I'm tired. $200 for an ounce. Now, it's good shit, don't get me wrong, but $200 for an ounce? Man, talking with Gerald, I would imagine I could make pounds. All right, it's obvious to anyone that voting by mail is maybe ripe for Darfing, said the 11-page report solution section. The U.S. mail is not meant to be a secure transactional system. Both the false positives, ghost votes, and the false negative, lost votes, would potentially have swung the outcome of the presidential race, in which Biden officially defeated incumbent President Trump. I can say that all day. By an alleged margin, though, of only 10,457 votes statewide. That's very close. While Arizona's 11 electoral votes alone would have been insignificant to secure the victory for Trump, which we obviously voted for Biden. Several other states currently in the exploratory state of possible audits may use Arizona's findings to guide and buoy their own efforts. Those notably include Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Trump won all 4 of the toss-up states in the 2016 election and currently have a GOP-led state legislature. And all currently have GOP-led state legislature. Perhaps more notably, the inconsistencies may have contributed directly to Democrats having gained control of the U.S. Senate. Democrat candidate Mark Kelly allegedly, I wouldn't say that. Let me rephrase that, YouTube. I'm sorry I read that. I apologize. It was not my... Dude, I'm on 2 strikes, man. I would rather not. But, really? That's done. Sorry about that. Tall camping tent. Works good. I like the square idea. Hold up. Let me catch up, since I'm already not reading. Tents are great if you can afford it, or clean out a closet in the middle of your house so you can control the humidity. That is, if I can have one of those tents and have the humidity just in that tent and not in that room, I'd rather do that. The closets that we have in this house are basically the size of clothes, and I would imagine maybe 2 feet deep. So it would definitely be like the smallest grow thing ever. Water bottle and a fan can work wonders. Humidifiers and dehumidifiers. I'd seen some of those little devices that tell you what the humidity is, and I guess it will self-adjust. Like if you want it to be at like 51%, I'm just using an example, 51% humidity, you would say, I want it at 51% humidity, and I guess it would adjust until it was, and then keep it at that. Called camping tent? No. Beware of once bloomed, it will smell up the area, so I hear. That's good to know. Dang, Holmes, I'm getting for $100 an ounce. You're getting 4. $100 an ounce here from a dude. Dude, bro, what's up, man? Hell, what's up, Broken Patriot? How you doing? Well, I wonder what the legalities is of driving across state lines. Well, man, I'm looking for seeds, especially the female ones. Apparently, Gerald had mentioned before, I think it was yesterday even, about making sure you get the feminized seeds, which I didn't even know that was a thing. And then sure enough, when I was looking on the site to buy seeds or possibly buy seeds, they had that section. Just, here's the feminized section. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I already know where to go. Okay. Anyway, Democratic candidate Mark Kelly defeated GOP incumbent Martha McSally, which I'm not that sad about, to be honest, because she was kind of a bitch and she wasn't that friendly towards a lot of stuff that I like. In the special election to fill the late John McCain's seat by a margin of 78,886 votes statewide, Arizona Senate is still awaiting the final submission of an overdue report on the independent forensic audit it commissioned firms, including Cyber Ninjas, to conduct. Yeah, why are we waiting so long, Cyber Ninjas? What the fuck are you doing? Because the longer you wait, the more I kind of wonder if Cyber Ninjas is even credible. I mean, this could come out and just be the biggest flop ever to come out. In addition to verifying the absentee ballots, it was tasked to examine other areas of concern. Among those were possible hacking of the supposed closed system polling place equipment furnished by Dominion and the county's use of Sharpie markers with bleed-through paper for provisional paper ballots. During a January hearing, Cyber Ninjas head Doug Logan said the preliminary analysis of their audit also showed several inconsistencies that went well beyond Biden's margin of victory. He noted among the absentee ballot issue, he identified that there was 70,243 mail-in ballots where there was no clear record of them being sent, and other residents that received more ballots than residents were listed. Based on the data we're seeing, I highly recommend that we do canvassing, Logan said. I think we've got about 74,000. I think we've got 74,000. It merits knocking on the door and verifying. So there you go. Going back to that, what was the total? 173 had been cast, were lost, or missing. Meanwhile, 96,000 ghost votes were mysteriously added to the tally despite supposed voters being accounted for. Yeah, quite a few. Female plants only. Yeah, I know. Have no makes or it will ruin the bud. Female plants only have no makes. Or you mean mates? Like don't have the boy plants? Yeah, I know. Just use an old refrigerator freezer for the starter, and the rest of the body is for the budding and grow time. You grow it, immediately separate the male plant from the females. Yeah, I'm not going to do that whole sexing the plant shit. Fuck that. I'd rather just get the female seeds. And it's like a 99.9% chance they're all girls. So 3 old fridges and you can have a sea of green. Yeah, I don't have that kind of space, to be honest. But it's cool. 2 plants that will grow good can fill a quart mason jar easy. Yep. What up, Quantum? How you doing? All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about, if 2020 wasn't bad enough, check this out. Federal election regulators are stealthily changing rules to ban internet connectivity. A little notice policy change in February would seem to offer some confirmation to the criticisms laid out by supporters of former President Trump that network-connected voting machines had been compromised during the 2020 election. The Election Assurance Commission stealthily revised its voluntary voter systems guidelines to ban any sort of internet connections, including wireless ones. That would be a great start. There's no reason. All you need to do is have it count the votes and then print out a receipt. Then put those votes in a box, number the receipt, number the box, put the box away. There you go. You have your votes. It's not that fucking hard. I mean, if you've ever seen a money counting machine, you understand how that works. You take the money, you put it in the machine, you take the money out after it counts it, you take the receipt of how much money the money counter counted, and then you wrap those bills, and there's your money. There's no internet required. The Election Assistance Commission stealthily revises. I already read that part. There are significant security concerns introduced when the network devices are then connected to the voting system, said the revised guidelines. The connectivity provides an access path to the voting system through the internet, and thus an attack can be orchestrated from anywhere in the world. Example, nation-state attacks. The document continued, the external network connection leaves the voting system vulnerable to attacks regardless of whether the connection is only for a limited period or if it's continuously connected. Previous guidelines issued in 2015 had permitted certain types of connectivity provided any data transmitted was first encrypted. But even those network connections left the system exposed for possible attack, according to an EAC press release. If the guidelines were to be strictly enforced, it would likely impact the setup used by major distributors like Dominion Voting Systems. Eyewitness testified to seeing the company's voting machines in key swing states linked to what appeared to be an internet connection mainframe server in the back room. The company itself released demo videos that showed its technicians remotely adjudicating damaged or disputed ballots to subjectively determine the will of the voters. So were they? Well, I don't know exactly which person they voted for. Well, I guess we're gonna have to make a decision here. Biden. I have plenty of mason jars though, for real. But it's a process to dry it after you've grown it. Obviously, you can't just smoke it. You gotta then cut it. You gotta hang it, let it dry for a certain amount of time. I forget exactly how long. Well, until the branch snaps when you bend it. I think that was how long. And then you trim it up, and then you take it off and put it in the jars, and then you leave it in the jars and you burp it 2 times a day for a certain amount of time. I think it was like a week or 2 weeks. I'm not exactly sure. And then you got to worry about the mold stuff, which I'm not, I don't know much about all that. But knowing how to grow stuff, knowing how to do hydroponics is definitely going to come in handy because some of this I actually kind of comprehend. Tomorrow is it that the administration tells us what they are going to do, beat the curve when it comes to, yeah, we got a story about that today. He has a story, yeah. And then you have this one and Broken Patriots in the house. Okay, cool. And administration bans importation of Russian. Yeah, I know, this is old. This is kind of old story, Broken Patriot. This has been a minute. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. Yeah, the 22nd. I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. I know there are people who are, but there's going to be plenty of importation from other countries that are close to Russia that isn't Russia. That's my opinion on that. All right, we're done with that one. Let's talk about the sniffles for a while, shall we not? Researchers are suing Biden right now, Facebook, Twitter, for colluding to censor free speech. I don't know if this was going to go anywhere. Probably won't, but it's nice to see. I'm tired of not being able to grow my own healing. Dude, that's what I'm working on. And I have a very small house. Very small. I don't know your situation, Quantum. In fact, you know what? If Gerald comes on tonight, we're going to probably do an after chat over on StreamYard, not on Discord, just because I don't know why, but Gerald can't get on Discord. Maybe I'll have an after chat if he comes on here just to show him how to sign up for Discord, because I would love to be able to go over there and have like just a conversation on growing weed. Because I'm definitely going to be doing it at some point. When exactly, I'm not sure, but I got a lot to learn. The Liberty Justice Center sued President Joe Biden and the Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, as well as Facebook and Twitter, for colluding to violate an American citizen's First Amendment right, Reclaim the Net reported. The conservative legal watchdog represents Justin Hart, the chief data analyst at RationalGround.com. Hart accused the Biden administration of colluding with big tech companies to censor information related to the sniffles, masks, and lockdowns. You cannot have a private company do something that you're not allowed to do as a government official. Just because you as a government can't censor the American speech doesn't mean you can go ahead and tell Facebook and Google to censor American speech. It doesn't work that way. Let's see if they get away with it, though. Hart said his website provides data-driven suggestions to help companies, public policy officials, and even parents gauge the impact of the sniffles, allowing them to move forward during this challenging pandemic. The complaint, dated August 31st, alleged that the federal government admits to conspiring with social media companies to censor messages which it disagrees with. I'm telling you. I've never seen such a thing. How will we allow this? How do normal people that aren't this connected, right? They haven't gone down any rabbit hole, right? But they still vote either one way or the other. And they still believe that they live in a free country, right? The unawake people, let's just put it that way. The unawake people, they think they live in a free country. How are they not opposed to this? You know, if they're just a normal person and they're like, you know what, I don't think those cloth things over my face do that much. I'm gonna post something about that on Facebook because I still got sick and I wore it every damn day. I don't think they do shit. Well, guess what? Your Facebook post gets flagged or removed, or you get a strike. The lawsuit argued that this viewpoint discrimination, in which the federal government directs big tech companies to censor views that challenge a certain narrative, violates the First Amendment. Hell fucking yeah, it does. In the complaint, the Liberty Justice Center asked the District Court for the Southern District of California to declare the actions of all the big tech companies and public officials unconstitutional and permanently enjoin them from monitoring, flagging, and deleting social media posts based on the viewpoints the post espouse. That's the thing. And we all know this. I'm preaching to the choir, but social media is your soapbox. It's your platform to stand up and say, these are my opinions. If you're stupid enough to watch a video on the internet and automatically go, I wasn't sure about the sniffles, but this guy seems like he knows exactly what he's talking about. Medical experience? I don't think he's got any, but you know what? He sounds pretty good. Let's go with that. Actually, that'd probably give you a better percentage chance than anything coming out of the CDC. But that's just my opinion. And definitely don't take my opinion, because I'm just an idiot on the YouTube. Facebook suspended Hart's accounts on July 13th when he posted a graphic with scientific data and the headline, Masking Children is Impractical and Not Backed by Research or Real-World Data. Numerous studies support Hart's message, but Biden administration and big tech companies do not want that data to spread. Mainstream outlets like the New York Post have agreed that no studies have demonstrated the ability of masks to prevent the spread of any respiratory illness. Several studies and news outlets have also noted that the sniffles pose an insignificant threat to nearly all healthy children. Study after study repeatedly shows that children are safer than shotted adults, the ones that got the jab, and that the mask people actually wear don't do much good. Just like Fauci said when this first all kicked off. After Hart posted the infographic, Facebook suspended his account for 3 days with the message, the post goes against our standards on misinformation that could cause physical harm, so only you can see it. The infographic contains statements with links to scientific studies that challenged America's public health tyranny, including assertions that improper masking is common and unsanitary. People are messing with their mask all damn day. Improper masking is common and unsanitary, that some masks contain toxic chemicals. You know what was funny is we go to these yard sales, and sometimes we go to the flea market, and I swear to God, I saw somebody at the flea market selling masks that they made. It doesn't matter. It's just put something over your face, I guess. Anyway, some masks contain toxic chemicals and masks can hinder speech development in children. Well, I'll tell you what, as somebody who is hard of hearing, it's really been difficult for me personally with people wearing masks because, first of all, it muffles your voice, and second of all, I can't read your lips. And I'm pretty good at reading lips. I'm not that deaf where I can't hear you, but you make it so I can't read your lips and you muffle yourself. It's going to be difficult for me. I'm tired of not being able to grow my own. Well, yeah. You know what? That'd be a great video series on this channel. I already know that it's going to get age restricted because it's just going to. But that would be something cool. Maybe I've been thinking, take a trip to Maine and get some lessons from Gerald too. Section 230, you can't remove opinions if you fall under this code. All big tech sites do. They are in direct violation. I understand that, and that's why they want to redo it. And they're not going to they're not going to do anything about it until they redo Section 230. Once they redo Section 230, they're definitely going to change it so that they can be an editor too. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. The reasons they are trying to squash any alternative treatment is if there's any valid treatment. Yeah. The emergency order for the shots have to be voided by law, so anything that treats it, yeah. Here's the other thing, Anonymous. They will not find a cure. They don't want to find a cure for it because you getting those booster shots every 5 to 6 months is money for Big Pharma. And if we all know about Big Pharma's track record, when's the last time they cured anything? Seriously, they don't cure you. Curing you would be bad for business. Treating you pays the bills. We call the homemade mask social comfort mask at the hospital. Zudak works at a hospital? No way. That was an honest description. Social comfort mask. Can't stop the government money flow to Big Pharma. Yeah. Well, they are the biggest lobbying. I forget. What is it? Does anybody offhand know how much Big Pharma lobbies? Yeah, let's do 2020. Top pharmaceutical lobbyist in 2020 was the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, which spent $25.9 million, making them the third top lobbying spender overall. The marketing of prescription drugs, health services, laboratory tests, and disease awareness rose to $29.9 billion in 2016. Let's see. The 10 largest lobbyist groups in America: the NCTA, the Internet and Television Association. I don't even know about that. Business Roundtable, American Medical Association. There's one. Yeah, they pay the bills, bro. They pay the bills. Okay. Let's see. Several studies and news outlets have also noted that sniffles pose an insignificant. Okay, I read that. Study after study repeatedly shows that children are safer than shotted adults. And I already read that too. After Hart posted the infographic, Facebook suspended his account for 3 days, which I already read that. The infographic contains statements which links to scientific studies. Read that too. Twitter suspended Hart's account on July 18th when he posted the CDC's own data. What? Twitter suspended Hart's account on July 18th when he posted the CDC's own data about masking. So the CDC just reported that 70% of those who came down with the sniffle symptoms had been wearing a mask, Hart wrote. 70%. 70% of people who wear their mask on a daily, most likely, I don't know, still got it. We know that masks don't protect you, but at some point you have to wonder if they're part of the problem. Twitter informed Hart about the ban by stating that he violated the policy on spreading misleading and potentially harmful information related to the sniffles. Within a week of these suspensions, the Biden administration admitted that it had told the social media companies to ban accounts that challenge the federal government's sniffle narrative. We are asking our technology companies to consistently take action against misinformation superspreaders on their platforms, Murthy said on July 15th. That is unconstitutional. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, Broken Patriot owns for you, even stated the federal government has a team that tells big tech companies which posts and accounts to suspend. What? So they're not just, see, this is news to me too. They're not just telling these companies to do it. They actually have people researching, finding these posts, and then saying, this guy, Poison Stinger, he talked about the sniffles on this thing, and he spread this misinformation. We need you to take him down. That is a clear fucking violation of the First Amendment. We've increased disinformation research and tracking with the Surgeon General's office, she said. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation. Fuck you. All right. Hundreds of billions. In a 4-year term, all pharma agencies spend roughly a couple billion in lobbying. You got to remember perks, flights, dinner, hotels, etc. All you need is nature. It was designed that way. Are you talking about weed or the sniffles? It's not just what the lobbyists report. They charter people, pay for rides, give dinners, put people up in hotels, line up jobs for representatives getting out of the government job, and equal billions spent. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting how we allow this to continue. I don't even know what could be done about it. I mean, even let's go full on utopia mode, right? Utopia thinking. We decide as a nation that we don't like this tyranny anymore. And so we peacefully ask them to leave, and they peacefully agree to leave. Nobody dies. There's no shots fired. And now we're in control, right? We get back to the basics of the Constitution, states' rights, gun rights shall not be infringed. I mean, perfect fucking scenario. How do you stop people like Big Pharma? Because we all know what money does to people. How do you stop something like that? Because you still need medicine. Like right now, we still don't have cures and we still have to treat these people, right? We can't just like, okay, well, nobody's getting any kind of treatments. If you're diabetic, fuck you, there's got to be a way. I don't know. I don't think in our lifetime they're going to cure shit. And I don't think there's any way to make it any better. All right. Speaking more about the sniffles, White House signals new sniffle measures are coming for the unshotted Americans. I believe this one was by Riddle in the Discord. It's not just what the lobbyists I already read that. Okay. I mean, just... come on, stop it. President Biden will announce on Thursday new steps in his administration's sniffle response that involves testing mandates and school measures depending on a person's shot status, the White House said. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters Wednesday that the new components would affect people across the country. There are 6 steps that President's announcing. There will be new components, Psaki said. Some of that will be related to access to testing. Some will be related to mandates. Some will be related to how we ensure kids will be protected in schools. The president indicated last week, following the jobs report, that his administration is looking for ways to make it safer for kids to return to school and for workers to return to the office. Workers are not returning to the office, in my opinion, because of the sniffles. They're not returning to the office because they're getting paid just as much, if not more, to sit on their ass at home and do nothing. Come up with a side hustle, maybe. That would be a great thing. Anybody out there getting unemployment, you should take that money and create yourself a side hustle. And then by the time you run out of unemployment, maybe you could have your own business going. Psaki said more will be previewed Thursday when the components are finalized. There will be new components that will, of course, impact people across the country, but we're also working together to get the sniffles under control, to return to our normal lives, she added. They don't want to. There's absolutely no way you can prove that they want to get back to normal. They love this shit. Biden's upcoming remarks comes as cases and hospitalizations have increased in areas around the country, in large part due to highly contagious Delta variant. When asked if the new steps will affect Americans' lives, Psaki said it depends on if you are shotted or not. So they're coming after you. Wow. We need a way for states to put bills up for state residents on state-made app so people can vote directly on topics they want passed and cut out lobbyists. Each district gets counted, and those topics get put up to a vote on. We have the technology. I don't doubt it. Of course we do, but it's not beneficial for them. True. But we can't make tracking apps for a bug that has a 99.8 survival rate. Quantum Lotus needs a side hustle. Well, I'm thinking about marijuana being my side hustle. I mean, if I have a 4x4, I don't know how. I think the guy had 6 plants in there. And I forget how many ounces you said I could get from 2. But I mean, he got 6 plants in that 4x4. At $100 or $200 an ounce, maybe. All right. This one was shared a day or so ago by Riddle in Discord, and I missed it. And I shouldn't have, because I do believe that at least I, probably Riddle, are super immune. I haven't worn any mask. I haven't gotten the jab. I haven't social distanced. I haven't not gone to places. I haven't not shook people's hands. I haven't not talked to people right here with spittle coming out or whatever, you know? I mean, I don't try to spittle, but I mean, it happens. And I haven't gotten sick. Now, I did get sick back in 2000, what was it, 17, December of 17? 2017 in December. So right before 2018, right? And we got super sick. It was the sickest I've ever been in my life, I think, that I can remember anyway. And we were sick for over 2 weeks. God damn, it was bad. I thought I was going to die. But we got through it. And I haven't been sick since. But I only get the flu like once every 10 years. Jumps. Me. Same. Yeah. Seriously. We're gonna look into it. If Gerald comes on later, we're gonna have an after chat. You're all invited. I'll send up a link and all that. I just scored 3 tattoo guns, needles, ink, grips, power supply, pedal, and more from a pawn shop for $45. So it looks like I'm starting to... Ooh. Dude, I've been wanting a new tattoo bad. I've been wanting to get some freedom tattoos. And here's the thing. I don't necessarily want to get them where I'm at. Phoenix is pretty decent. But I mean, Phoenix is still a city, right? And yeah, they're a great artist here. But at the same point, do you want it to look good? Or do you want to have a great time getting it and having somebody believe in it, right? I've had a couple tattoos in my life, as you can see. This one was my first professional tattoo. I just went into a guy's trailer in Prescott Valley. It was the first tattoo shop in Prescott Valley. So the guy was living in a trailer and operating out of a trailer, and he just had all of his art up on the wall, right? And I didn't think no better. I just went in there knowing I wanted a tattoo. So I was like, I'll take that one. And so that's the Grim Reaper tattoo. This one, which was Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood album tattoo, I got done by a heavy metal dude who loved Motley Crue and was very painstakingly making sure that he was doing it very carefully, because there's a lot of line work and stuff like that, and we were jamming to Motley Crue the whole time. That's the kind of tattoo artist I want. Getting some fake trial skin and pig skin. Oh yeah, man. Do you have social medias where you post pictures of stuff? Or, I mean, I don't know if you do the YouTube videos, do you? I would love to see that. Free tattoos for me, happy man. Well, anything that you can get to anyway. Plus I can mark chickens, rabbits, etc. Nice. That's interesting. Okay, back onto this. What I think me and Riddle are. Some scientists have called it a superhuman immunity or bulletproof, but an immunologist Shane Crotty prefers hybrid immunity. Overall, hybrid immunity to SARS, and that's what I think we actually had in 2008, 17, December of, appears to be impressively potent, Crotty wrote in a commentary in Science back in June. No matter what you call it, this type of immunity offers much needed good news in what seems like an endless array of bad news regarding the sniffles. Over the past several months, a series of studies has found that some people mount an extraordinarily powerful immune system response against SARS, the sniffles that causes the disease of the sniffles 19. Their bodies produce very high levels of antibodies, but they also make antibodies with great flexibility, like capable of fighting off the sniffle variant circulating in the world, but also likely effective against variants that may emerge in the future. One could reasonably predict that these people will be quite well protected against most and perhaps all of the SARS-CoV-2 variants that are likely to see in the foreseeable future. Says Paul, that dude, a virologist at Rockefeller University who helped lead several of the studies. In a study published online last month, he and his colleagues found antibodies in these individuals that can strongly neutralize the 6 variants of the concern tested, including the Delta and the Beta, as well as several other sniffle related to the SARS, including one in bats, 2 in pangolins, and the one that caused the first sniffle, the SARS-CoV-1. This is being a bit more speculative, but I would also suspect that it would have some degree of protection against the SARS-like sniffles that have yet to infect humans, he said. So, who is capable of mounting this superhuman or hybrid immune response? People who have had a hybrid exposure to the sniffles. Specifically, what they were infected with the sniffles in 2020 and then immunized with the mRNA shot this year. Those people have an amazing response to the sniffle shot. Well, see, that's get your shots, everybody. Who also helped lead several of the studies. I think they are Hold on. I think they are in the best position to fight the sniffles. The antibodies in these people's blood can even neutralize SARS-CoV-1, the first sniffle, which emerged 20 years ago. This sniffle is very, very different from SARS-CoV-2. In fact, these antibodies were even able to deactivate a sniffle engineered on purpose to be highly resistant to neutralization. This sniffle contained about 20 mutations that are known to yada, yada, yada. All right. I don't know. I didn't get the shot, so maybe I'm just full of shit, which very possible. Yeah, I know it's been around for a while. It's just that this version of it, that's why they call it the 19 sniffle. We could have had the original version of the sniffles back in 2017, created our own super immunity power. Yeah, I guess. Virginia cuts General Robert E. Lee's statue into pieces. They didn't just remove it, they destroyed it. Wow. Any remnant like this that glorifies the lost cause of the Civil War needs to come down. A crowd erupted in cheers and song Wednesday as work crews hoisted an enormous statue of Confederate Robert E. Lee off the pedestal where he had towered over Virginia's capital city for more than a century. One of America's largest monuments to the Confederacy, the Aquarian statue was lowered to the ground just before 9 a.m. after a construction worker who strapped harnesses around Lee and his horse lifted his arms into the air and counted 3, 2, 1 to a jubilant shouts from the crowds of hundreds. A work crew then began to cut it into pieces. Any remnant like this, yada yada, ever read that? Any remnant like this that glorifies the lost cause of the Civil War needs to come down, said Ralph Northam, who called it hopefully a new day in a new era in Virginia. The Democrat said it represents more. It's funny that it comes from a Democrat. Represents more than 400 years of history that we should not be proud of. Sharon Jennings, an African American woman born and raised in Richmond, said she had mixed feelings seeing it go. It's a good day and a sad day at the same time. Jennings, 58, doesn't matter what color you are. If you really like history and you understand what this street has been your whole life and you've grown up this way, you're thinking, oh my God, but when you get older, you understand that it does need to come down. Some chanted, whose streets? Our streets. And saying, hey, 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 goodbye. I hate that song. I absolutely hate that song. Even if my side wins, I'm not gonna sing. Anyway, one man with a Black Lives Matter flag, I'm guessing he was white, was escorted out by police after running into the fenced-off area, work area. No arrests were reported, and there was no sign of counter-protest. Workers used a power saw to cut the statue into two along General's waist, so that it could be hauled under highway overpasses to an undisclosed state-owned facility. I guess they didn't destroy it. Until a decision is made about its final disposition. Well, I mean, you're cutting it, so at the very least, you're going to have to weld it back together if you decided to keep it. The job was overseen by a team Henry Enterprises led... I don't give a fuck. Okay, so I'm done. This is a historic moment for the city of Richmond. The city of the community at large is saying that we're not going to stand for these symbols of hate in our city anymore. Rachel Smucker, 28, a white woman who moved to Richmond 3 years ago, always found it to be offensive and is a symbol of protesting slavery and racism that people of color still face today. Bullshit. The pedestal is to remain for the time being, although workers are expected to remove decorative plaques and extract a time... Oh! There's a time capsule there? No way. The 21-foot-high bronze sculpture sat atop a granite pedestal nearly twice that tall, towering above Monument Avenue since 1890. in the former capital of the Confederacy. I wonder if that time capsule is from 1890. Holy crap. There's a time capsule there? Dismembered in effigy of Lee. Interesting. Scary, too. Yeah. I tell you, when you start taking down historical monuments, why can't you just understand that it's not there to glorify? Some people will see it. Some people would see it there as glorifying, right? Oh, I love Lee, man. The South will rise again. Other people would be like, see that guy? I disagree with him, and he liked slaves, and he thought the Southern states should secede, and yada yada yada. It's a teaching moment. When you erase it, you lose that teaching moment, one way or the other. And we all know what happens when you forget history. Biden's staffers mute his interviews for fear of gaffes. I love the face. White House staffers regularly mute or turn off President Joe Biden's interviews with reporters out of fear he will veer off course or misspeak. So who's really running it? Biden, a self-proclaimed gaffe machine, makes so many verbal blunders while speaking with reporters that it makes his own aides nervous, the outlet reported. I know people who habitually don't watch it live for that reason, one House official said. Some of his staffers have even pushed the president to take fewer questions from reporters because he takes way too many now, apparently, to minimize the number of gaffes that he makes. White House Press Secretary Psaki admitted earlier this year that limiting Biden's contact with the media was indeed a strategy. A lot of times we say don't take questions, Psaki told former Obama campaign strategist David Axelrod in a May podcast interview, but he's going to do what he wants to do, she added. He is the president of the United States. Is he? I mean, I know he is, but it doesn't seem like sometimes he's in charge when he's told who to ask from and who not to, and when they mute his mic. It seems like his parents are the president behind a curtain. Biden himself has also hinted that he has been discouraged from speaking to the press. Just a couple of weeks ago, at an appearance at a Federal Emergency Management Agency headquarters, he said, "I'm not supposed to take any questions, but go ahead." Recently, Biden's gaffes have become a point of concern for many who question whether Biden is capable of leading the country effectively, especially as he deals with multiple crises. However, the White House denied that Biden's team is all concerned with the way he communicates. Is at all concerned. As the president has shown over and over since he announced his candidacy more than 2 years ago, he is the most effective communicator for his vision and his agenda, Rapid Response Director Michael Gwynn told Politico. He might be one of the people. The president deeply values the role of the press. Yeah, I'm sure he does. That's why he regularly takes time to answer their questions and interviews, yada, yada. Washington State Cafe refuses or resists leftist governor. We refuse to be Inslee's mask police. I don't know if we have anybody that watches us from Washington, but if we do, apart from the UC Berkeley faculty lounge, few places in the U.S. might ordinarily be thought greater hotbeds for liberalism than an independently run bookstore and coffee shop in Washington State. But those thinking Seattle's far-left politics are indicative of the state's entire population may be in for a shock. Telltale sign that perpetrators of cats, coffee, and used books in Lindell have become the latest soldier in the front lines against tyrannical mask mandates. The hamlet lies in the northwesternmost corner of the contiguous United States, so close to the Canadian border that it could be considered part of Vancouver metropolitan region. Well, I would imagine that would be then kind of like what Phoenix is. Mesa. If you go from Phoenix to Mesa, there's city the entire way. So I would imagine that's kind of what they're talking about there. It's a family-owned downtown bookshop, has been open since 1947 and overseen by Ken and Sherry Stapp since 1987 when they took it over from Ken's grandfather. However, trouble began in February when Washington's Department of Labor arrived to enforce Democrat Governor Jay Inslee's latest sniffle orders. According to a recent Facebook post, the Stapps were slapped with a $20,000 fine after being snitched on for refusing to comply with the mask demands. Now, following months of ongoing harassment, the 74-year-old shop has shuttered with no indication of when or if it may reopen. The Staps told Headline US via email, "We are in a position to close our business in order to protest this mask mandate because we are not reliant on the business for our livelihoods, nor our two employees," said the Staps. "We are not going to be the mask police, so rather than risk another large fine, we opted to let everyone know where we stood," they continue. We papered our windows, and have made them into a history lesson for the community with pictures of U.S. historical quotes referencing our freedoms along with some humor mixed in. Despite the reputation their state has for being radically progressive, the staff said that Linden was mostly like-minded rural community that did not appreciate the encroachment of leftist values and Inslee's shameless authoritarianism. If you would see the states geographically, they are large red except for those larger cities, the couple added. So what we are doing is definitely our way of making a political statement about untruths as well as overreach of Inslee and his enforcement minions. I would sue. Everybody's suing. Sue. Eventually, I mean, you might want to wait a little bit, but I have a feeling this shit is going to hit the fan. I mean, Fauci has already been proven to lie in front of Congress, saying he had no part in the whole gain of function research, which he absolutely did. I'm still waiting for him to go to jail, which probably will never happen. Anyway, the staff said that 99% of their loyal customers supported the business decision to maintain the unmasked status quo rather than obey the unfounded, non-scientific dictats of power-hungry bureaucrats. This is one of those stories that just have a whole bunch of nonsense words for nonsense reasons. Fairy tales are more than true, not because they something. Can't read it. Okay. Done with that. I'm not going to read this, but I wanted to share this with you. I forget exactly. This came from Guns Coast to Coast this morning on the Morning Muster. The Morning Muster was live this morning. I know I've seen a few people there. Anybody else who would like to see the Morning Muster, it's 5 a.m. my time. No, sorry, 5:30. 5:30 in the morning my time. So about, I don't know what that is. 5:30 my time. Okay. Sniffles and the Apocalypse, Religious and Secular Perspectives. It's a long read, just saying. But I believe it says that it's always been, I don't remember. I don't want to read it, obviously, and you should definitely look into it. The Sniffles and Armageddon. Apocalypse stuff. So if you want it, there's a link in the chat. It comes from Guns Coast to Coast. As I said, I value his opinion highly. Now we're getting on to, I believe this is from the Discord. I believe this is also from Irish USMC Vet. So we're going to watch this.
There have been numerous reports, Heather and Bob, that indeed the interim government of the new Islamic nation of Afghanistan.
Yeah. I remember what this is now. Okay, so this is that they are basically going to hold a ceremony to their first president for the Taliban. They're going to do it on 9/11. How crazy is that? I mean, it is what it is, but it's just another big old middle finger like, fuck you, United States, we kick your ass. We're going to do it on 9/11.
There have been numerous reports, Heather and Bob, that indeed the interim government of the new Islamic nation of Afghanistan will be sworn in this Saturday, September 11th. There's been no official announcement from Supreme Leader Akhujana, but this is the story that various sources are circulating. So far, there is no comment from the administration, but both the White House and the State Department are reportedly preparing statements condemning what is clearly a thumbing in the nose to the nation that suffered the most from that tragedy, namely the United States of America. Meanwhile, the interim government has just been announced, and a number of the cabinet members are on the FBI's list.
Yo,
In addition,
we traded.
Sukadhana Haqqani, the new interior minister, is someone who's been sanctioned by the United States. He is also the son of the terrorist group that bears his name, Haqqani. In any event, this does not look like any new and improved Taliban, but your father's Taliban. As further evidence of this, there are reports coming from Kabul that women who are demonstrating against an all-male interim government and against the rollback of women's rights are being beaten, sometimes with whips. This is going to be a very bloody scenario, and this is the way the new Taliban government is opening its rule. We'll have more for you later. Back to you, Heather and Bob.
John, just to ask you, as somebody that was around 9/11, as I was, by the way.
Yes.
All right, so they're gonna go into opinion on that, but some of the people in the Taliban's top, I think there's two. I believe there's two. Some of y'all might know this more than I do, but isn't there at least two people that we traded for Bergdahl? I forget what his rank was. I'm not even gonna call him by his rank, but Bergdahl, you know, the guy that we traded to get back, and we gave them, people of theirs. Those people are now like in the top part of the government in the Taliban right now. And Bergdahl, I don't know what or who he is. I mean, last time I heard, he was trying to change his sex, or already did. I don't even know what he is. Now, this is a funny story from Riddle. I didn't even know if I was going to do it. But a doctor is warning against holding in your farts and says it can have grim consequences. There is a video.
Farts. On average, people fart. Take a minute to relax while I tell you some important facts about farts. On average, people fart 14 times a day. The more, the merrier. If someone tells you they don't fart, they're lying and you should disown them
14
immediately,
times?
or they've got a bowel obstruction, which is a medical emergency. Your average daily fart volume is enough to fill up a medium-sized balloon. Happy birthday. The first fart of your day is usually the largest. 75% of farts are produced by bacteria in the large intestine. Digested food that isn't broken down is chewed up by bacteria that produce microscopic farts, and these microscopic farts accumulate and become one of your regular farts. 25% of farts is swallowed air that you don't burp and dissolved gases from the blood making its way into your intestines. 99% of a fart is non-smelly gases, usually hydrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide. Hydrogen and methane are flammable, which is why you can light a fart on fire, not recommended. The 1% of farts that do stink are volatile sulfur compounds like hydrogen sulfide. If you hold in a fart too long, it can be reabsorbed into your blood circulation and breathed out when you exhale. The noise of a fart is a combination of anal sphincter vibrations and the percussion of butt cheeks against each other. Fart velocity and butthole tightness determine the sound. Anal embouchure.
Oh, hell. That was hilarious. Thank you, Riddle. I don't think I'm going to read it now, though, just because that's hilarious. We'll leave it at that. And I already did that. All right, cool. Out of here almost on time. It is 7:04. Unfortunately, Gerald did not show up, but I will hold it to, not the fart. I will definitely hold out to do an after chat when he's on here, unless anybody's interested in doing one tonight. I don't really have any plans right now other than smoking a little bit of herb and maybe having a drink and relax and having dinner and stuff like that. So you can reabsorb the fart into your bloodstream and exhale it. Is that why you have bad breath, Riddle? Because I doubt you're holding your shit. I mean, living with you, I'm pretty sure I know you don't hold your shit. All right, so we're gonna get. Well, there's a delay. Other than that, what are we doing tonight, Riddle? All right, cool. Well, we're gonna head out and do all that and have a fun Wednesday night. Make sure to check out the Morning Muster tomorrow morning at 5:30 Arizona, well, Pacific time. If it's 5:30 Pacific time, then it would be, let's see, 6. So it'd be 2 extra hours. So 5:30, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern? Yeah, 8:30 Eastern. All right. Until tomorrow, though, check out all the descriptions before I head out. Check out all the descriptions below if this is your first time watching this kind of content, which is amazing because this morning on the Morning Muster, freaking Irish got 2 new people to find his channel. Said it came up in the recommendeds. I'm like, holy crap. He must not be shadow banned. He doesn't do enough videos to get shadow banned or something because his stuff is still getting recommended to people. So if this is your first time, though, check out the descriptions down below. We have all the links that to causes and stuff that I believe in. So if you're looking for a cause to believe in, I have a few listed down there that I do. We have the pH Association. That's a disease that I have. So pH Association is the one that's looking for a cure for it because we all know Big Pharma's not going to look for a cure for it. We have the GOA, Gun Owners of America, who are taking some heat right now for being a nonsense gun organization and actually holding people to account. So check out the GOA if you haven't already. We have ProjectRecover.org, an organization that goes out and looks for lost service members, returns their remains to their families. And then lastly, we have Rally Point Irish. My good friend Irish is setting up a location in Tennessee and looking to raise some money for it with a GoFundMe. So veterans can have a place to live and eat while learning new life skills like farming, blacksmithing, gunsmithing, something to get them back into the workforce. There are also ways to donate to the channel. If you want to donate to the channel, if you do, just thank you first of all, but also know that 50% of everything that this channel makes, I put directly into Rally Point Irish. So just know that. And most importantly, all the places you can follow me. Tonight we talked about a lot of topics that YouTube doesn't want me to talk about because the First Amendment is fucking dead in this country. So if you want to continue to watch this kind of content, I would highly suggest that you follow me on all the social medias, and especially Discord, which is linked down below, as that is the best way to know where and when we will be still broadcasting, because we might not be on this channel, but we will definitely continue to broadcast. Irish was fired up this morning, Riddle. You are correct. He was on a tirade. But it was fun to watch. Anyway, I hope to see you all there tomorrow morning for the Morning Muster and back here tomorrow for the next evening catch-up. Until then, make sure to keep that family close. Watch out for that government. Try to live as free as you can in a tyrannical world because we don't have no First fucking Amendment, and they sure as hell going after the Second. So, good luck to everybody, and stay strong. Live free. Peace.
Trading my freedom for the price on my head. Well, I say